Have you noticed some new police cars out on the road? The Coon Rapids Police Department is testing out a few new models this year. I'm here now with Officer Steve Beberg. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the new police vehicles. Why is the department looking at new styles and makes of vehicles?
In 2011, the Ford Motor Company decided they were no longer going to make the Ford Crown Victoria. That's kind of been the stable police car that everybody's chose across the country, and it's forced us to look at some new options for police cars.
And I understand this is a test year.
That's correct. We ended up buying 2 vehicles from each manufacturer and are reviewing and trying those vehicles to see how they work for our fleet.
And there's a new graphic look to the vehicles as well. Talk about this a little bit.
Yes, we've switched now to an all-black car, and we've gone to a newer, updated design identifying the police and the city on the side of it.
And people may have seen this out in the community, but it usually takes people a little while to connect. Oh, hey, that looks different. It looks new. Have you had any comments from people?
Yes, we have. The very first one went the 4th of July parade. It was a huge success out there, and officers continually have people walk up to them and are speaking to them just about the squad cars and the graphics on them and how nice they look. This is a 2012 Dodge Charger. It is the Dodge version that they have put out to use for the police vehicle. Our vehicles, the great thing about the Charger actually is the first thing here is how far open the driver's door actually opens. You can see that you can get into the vehicle very easily for the officer. The insides of our vehicles, each manufacturer is a little different. However, the equipment that we have in the vehicles are primarily the same. Starting at the top, you can see our computer there that we're dispatched to calls. We can check license plates, driver's license, and other functions through the computer. We have an in-car video camera system that records front and rear of the car, front and the back seat of the car. And then the next thing is the light control and the radio. And you can see an officer has quite a bit of stuff going on just between there and the seats. And then yet up on the dash, we've added a radar with a front and rear antenna, a printer, and some of the other vehicles even have a GPS and other items up on there also. Back seats then, we come with the cages on the window to protect the inside of the window. And again, with this particular vehicle, it's nice how far the door opened and you're able to get people into the back seat there. Our patrol vehicles come with a hard plastic seat, and that's just basically for ease of clean out and make sure that nothing's being tucked in between the seats. You can see there's a solid metal barrier between the officer and anybody that's in the back seat, along with plastic behind them and a little grate that we can talk to the person in the back seat. And again, our video camera system is recording what's going on in the back seat of the car here. As we come around to the back then, you can see that we have extra lighting in the windows and the complete light bar on the top, and some of the equipment that we carry inside of our trunks. Is across the top here is we have our stop sticks that are used for using on a pursuit to deflate tires on a fleeing vehicle. We have our oxygen and first aid kits, and we would have our AED besides that. In the winter time, we keep the AED inside the vehicle just so it stays warm for use. In the summertime, it would be mounted back here. We always carry a fire extinguisher in each vehicle. This is a rescue Frisbee, so that if somebody happens to fall through the ice, it has a line attached to it. We can throw it to a victim and help pull them back in. And then just other miscellaneous supplies inside the box here, such as road flares, police tape, and other items that an officer might use during his shift.
Now this is a utility vehicle, a larger vehicle that actually allows you to have more equipment?
That's correct. This is a 2013 Ford utility vehicle. This is one of the vehicles that Ford has put out to replace the Crown Victoria. This vehicle, what's nice about the utility is that it's all enclosed, so all of our equipment stays warm. Our AEDs are warm, our first aid equipment is warm, and I can carry a significant amount more of equipment in the back of this vehicle than I can in our regular patrol cars. The inside of it, pretty much the same. Computers, printers, radios, all that stuff's universal, so no matter which vehicle an officer gets into, he's working with the same equipment, he's familiar with that equipment. Like I said, with this vehicle, a lot more room, especially in the back. The back seats have a lot more room, so if we're transporting somebody or taking somebody for a ride, a lot more room back there for that person to sit in. Same thing with the front. It's a lot more room in the front for an officer to sit inside that vehicle. So, and then to the back, again, we're able to put a significant amount of equipment into the back of these trucks. You can see how much room we have in there. Again, first aid equipment, AEDs. This vehicle carries a shield, a bunker, and some other utility items that an officer may need at a scene. The nice thing about the utilities, and again with the other cars, is the gas mileage that we have found on these has been better than the Crown Victorias. So we're driving this vehicle and saving money over the Crown Victorias.
Would these vehicles then be used at different calls because you have the extra equipment in the back?
That's correct. An officer driving this vehicle would know that this equipment is in here, and if that type of call came out where that equipment was needed, he could then respond as either a primary or backup officer. In the past, we've had to send one officer to the call and other officers back to the office to get this equipment and then respond to the call. So this is saving our response time to those type of situations.
Okay, and this is also an all-wheel drive vehicle, I understand?
That's correct. Both of the Ford versions that we bought are all-wheel drive, so that really helps us in the wintertime and in the bad weather, that we're able to stay in our squad cars that we use.
Now, the last vehicle that your department is testing out is a Ford sedan.
That's correct. This is a 2013 Ford sedan. It is the second vehicle that Ford has offered to replace the Crown Victoria for us. On this door here, you can see again that they just don't open quite as far as the Chargers do, so it's a little bit tighter space on the Ford sedan, and again in the back seat, it's the same thing. It's just a little bit smaller version of the Crown Victorias. Again, we have the same equipment inside this vehicle. This particular vehicle, we didn't put a light bar on the top. We have all the emergency lighting on the windows, and we were testing that for fuel mileage, and we actually ended up finding that we saved almost a mile a gallon by not having a light bar on top.
That's interesting. As an officer, what is important to you as far as your vehicle? You spend a lot of time in it. It's kind of like your little home away from home. Are there certain styles that you tend to like more as far as functionality?
Yes, that's correct. These are our offices. We do spend, most of our shift is out in the car. I like a little bit bigger car. As a bigger officer, it's a little bit easier for me to get in and out. Again, I like a little bit bigger in the back seat also. One of the important things when we were looking at the cars, however, has come down to the fuel mileage. We wanted to make sure we were getting better mileage than our Crown Victorias were getting in all of the vehicles. And we have found that each officer does like a certain vehicle, a certain size, and what we're going to do is we're going to have all the officers again evaluate the cars and let us know which ones they think, and then we're going to make a recommendation on which ones the police department should go with.
And will these be replaced just as needed when the other vehicles have worn out, or just a replacement cycle?
That's correct, yes. We're only replacing out as the Crown Victorias get to their cycle, which is a 3-year cycle. Then we would replace those, and we do about 6 cars a year.
Thanks for showing us the vehicles today.
Thanks, Stephanie.